So, guys, we are still on this same topic, respect, and I have here with me another one of my very good colleague. His name is Mr. Tolani Kadiri. I'm also going to give him the space to introduce himself more better to you, and we want to hear his own opinion coming from the male gender, and coming from someone else's perspective. What do you think that what can we say about the word respect in the office space, in the corporate world, in the business setting? Do you think it's something that should be swept under the carpet? How do we talk about employer employee relationship, in terms of this word respect? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, respect from the corporate perspective is what I would rather coin as component of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is very important. It cannot be overemphasized. It's such an important trait that must be existent within the organizational culture and also with each individual. The truth is that we possess it at different levels. And what sometimes we misconstrue as disrespect comes from what I would rather call low emotional intelligence. And what also makes you to respect your colleague or the ethics of your workplace comes from the level of emotional intelligence you have. Emotional intelligence transcends your culture, transcends your personality. It cuts across, just name it, anything within everything that has to do with the impulses, the pressure that comes with being at your place of work. So, when it comes to cultivating a culture of respect at work, it's important that organizations puts premium on training their staff on how to improve their emotional intelligence. I can tell you, I can typically tell you sorry in two different ways. I can tell you, I'm sorry. I can tell you, I'm truly sorry. The point is, I've both apologized in the same way, but the culture, the way the impulse is passed, you know, is what has actually differentiated both. So that's just a summary of it.
So, do you think respect is such a topic that should be looked at that can affect an organization's growth, boost sales, or even, affect an organization entirely?
So that's what I said earlier, that instead of actually seeing it as respect, the concern should be around improving the emotional intelligence of the staff. Research has shown that emotional intelligence can affect work relationship, can affect the way even the way your clients will perceive you. You might have all the respect in the world, but lack the courtesy, lack the professional etiquette required for you to deliver your job efficiently. So rather than focusing on just respect because we are Africans, and you see, respect in itself is also very subjective. What you might deem to be respectful to me might just be normal. So some organizations love to, keep the word sir and ma in place. Some basically will tell you you call your colleagues by their names, regardless, you even call your seniors by their names. So respect is subjective. And when organizations begin to pay too much attention on respect, they lose the major ingredients. So rather, I would rather suggest that the focus should be on um, enhancing the emotional intelligence of staff members. That's responsible. That's the element that can improve sales, can improve longevity, can reduce job turnovers, and basically help harness the skills and resources within the organization.
Wow, that's so insightful. Thank you
Thank you.
so much.
My
So,
pleasure.
in few words, would like to have a takeaway tip for that employee out there who is struggling with emotional intelligence, or probably that employer out there who is struggling with emotional intelligence.
Yes. So first skill you need to do here, get a very good HR. In most cases, your HR will be the one to help you navigate through the stormy weathers. And then, if there is a need for the HR, would now then suggest what's the best approach. I wouldn't want to tell you something here because I am not an HR specialist, so I wouldn't want to give out that message that might mislead the public, the audience. Rather, my advice would be that to the organizations, get a very good HR to help you. To individuals, learn to read more, upskill yourself on how to improve your personality. I would, if I were to delve into everything that makes up emotional intelligence, we'll need a new session for this because there are many components, many factors, but we all are work in progress, and so we all keep working on ourselves to get better. So getting better means you learn to just, improve how you talk, improve how you relate, improve how you perceive impulses. Very important. In fact, that was a weakness I had many years back. I typically do not know how to process impulses. I typically get triggered, even for little things that are not meant to get triggered for. So if you don't learn to process your impulses well, you would end up making more enemies and you would end up being an irascible fellow, which might not speak well.
Okay, so everyone, you've heard what he has said, and I believe you've taken out of everything he has said for your own particular, for your own growth and development. So, one thing I've also learned from him is that aspect of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is very, very important, and it helps you to also be professional at how you deal with your colleagues, deal with that employer, deal with that individual in that office space that can be so difficult to deal with. So thank you once again. Thank you. We are
My
so glad
pleasure.
to have you here. Well, I would say I've had my own fair share of a toxic environment between myself and my boss. And in that kind of space, I would even say that is an emotional abuse, and it can actually, bring down a person's worth and professionalism and performance generally. So, my dear, we really need to learn and develop emotional intelligence. Develop that thick skin of how to be able to cooperate, of how to be able to deal with different set of individuals in the formal environment and be so professional and mature about it. That is my own take home advice. I hope you've learned one or two things from this episode. So see you in the next channel. Bye for now.